Aloha and welcome to this module on the underscore library for JavaScript. I'm super psyched about this module. It's going to completely revolutionize your understanding or ability to manipulate objects in JavaScript and do so in such an incredibly succinct and expressive way. And so I'm just really excited for you to start working on this. It's also, for those of you who come from a Java or even C++ background, you're going to find that there's some cool stuff you can do in Java, mainly around passing functions around, anonymous functions, even having functions that return functions as their value. Stuff that's very easy and useful to do in JavaScript that is harder, very complicated to do in other languages. So we're going to see all that this week in this module. I also would like you to start reading the JavaScript cookbook reference material. And you don't have to study, you don't have to memorize any of this, but I'd like you to read the first 3 chapters so that you start to understand what's in the cookbook. And I'm going to ask you to kind of skim through many of the chapters in this cookbook over the course of this semester, because later on when you come across various programming problems, you'll start to remember, oh yeah, in the cookbook they talked about how to do this, and you'll know to go there. And then there's this little, this kind of introductory posting about underscore.js, which will help you just get started with the library. And then there's this other reading, which is really kind of cool. It's the annotated source, and you can actually see how all the functions in the underscore library actually work. The actual documentation for underscore is just their home page, and you can see underscore just consists of a bunch of little almost utility functions for collections, arrays, functions, and objects. We're going to basically use the collections, some of the arrays, and the objects in this module. You won't really need any of the other stuff, but you'll just find that it makes doing certain kinds of things in JavaScript ridiculously easy compared to what you might have to do otherwise. And so I'll just show you one of the first experience where what we're going to be doing this week is downloading or employing data from the Open Hawaii Government, I don't know what it is, the Hawaii Open data set. For this particular experience, we're going to be using 5 years of UH degree data, and the data kind of looks like this, and you'll be implementing various functions associated with it. And the cool thing about all of these exercises I'm going to have you do is that you cannot use a for loop or an if statement. Okay? And what you're going to find is that the solutions to these are generally going to involve the composition of several functions, all of which are basically one-liners. So it's really cool that way. As always, I will show you the solutions, and there's another thing I'm going to have you do, or you have the ability to do this as an optional thing, but there's this really cool game called Untrusted, which is kind of like a JavaScript programming game. You'll be presented with various puzzles and some JavaScript code, and you'll need to kind of edit the JavaScript code in various ways to solve the puzzle. And the first ones are quite simple, so all of you should be able to do the first few levels. I'm not going to grade this or anything. I just think it's a really fun way to kind of play around with JavaScript, so I recommend you take a quick look at that anyway. And then of course we'll have a technical essay. You'll be assessed in class on Wednesday, on the 17th of September, with respect to your underscore skills, and of course you'll be writing a blog posting. So that's basically what the module is, what the underscore module is. I think that you'll find that once you've used underscore, you will probably want to use this library most, if not all of the time when you do JavaScript programming, because it, as you'll see by the end of the week, it makes manipulating data much easier than it would be if you had to write it with just kind of vanilla JavaScript.